Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Walking with the Master. And I do bring back persons who I feel confident in. Who I have a lot of belief in, and those who I know is bona fide. And I know some are looking to still get on right now, and we got you in line. Just make sure you get in contact with me. I'm Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad, also known as and formerly known as Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, if you're looking for me on YouTube or whatever. So you're now here for this episode, and I want to just introduce this individual again, who I know very well. He's a great friend of mine. He's a family member of ours, those of you in the family of Sanukis, in the family of Vijitsute, in the family of Kumite-ru Jiu-Jitsu. We're talking about Grandmaster Tom Curry. Welcome.
Us.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great being here with you, my friend.
Man, it's always wonderful being with you. Listen, I'm still excited, man. We had a tremendous event. You had a tremendous event just yesterday that I was a part of, and I'm just so happy to have been a part of it. So let me just ask you, man, how was it for you?
Well, being that we're with the pandemic and that we're now virtual, especially here in Staten Island, we had some pretty high numbers considering, as many people as we've had in the past. We've had barely room to get on the mat. And in the school here yesterday, it was pretty crowded, but online it was very crowded as well. So the spirit and the enjoyment of everybody I looked at on the video or in the class, it was all high. The instructors were having fun. I had a great time with you, my friend. And I want to thank you for coming on board, because Dr. Powell used to do that seminar. That was his. And when he transitioned and I called you, I says, hey, I don't want to do it alone. Will you do it with me? He says, yeah, I'll do it. And it's been a blast every single year we've been doing it. We've been doing it for quite a while now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I enjoyed it, as I enjoy it every year as well. And you have not missed a year, no matter through the pandemic. You've continued to make this thing happen.
Yeah, well, martial arts is not. Martial arts has survived the worst times, both as an instructional art, but also when people are in dire need in their life or in the combat zone, right? It's martial arts, it's still going to be there. So, even if they come down like Elon Musk sends down the ship and they take us over to Mars and they put us inside, the Martians are going to say, leave them alone. They're doing martial arts over there. So whether it's a pandemic or anything, we'll still manage to, through history, we've still managed to survive it. So it's we're not going away. It's actually getting stronger. And by the numbers we had yesterday and the predicament that we're in today, only proves to me that once we're allowed to open up the way we used to, we're going to have to get a hole somewhere because there'll be too many people.
Yes, I agree. And the point that you brought up about, pandemic, it's a difficult situation that the world is in. But the beauty is that you continue and we continue to offer people a way to not consider or to relieve their mind of the trouble while we provide something right to their, via online, physically, in person. I mean, we provide a service that's a blessing to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And enhances their life, no matter how you cut it. And even in this morning's class, it says, look, I'm not creating mercenaries, but I can if that's what you want. I says, I'm not creating killers, but if you're going to go to the combat zone, I could teach you that. But your jujitsu is different and everyone's jujitsu is different and it becomes yours and it enhances every part of your life. And even if you do ballet, they say, wow, how do you get that kind of movement? Well, I do Sanukas, I do jujitsu. So it works for everybody and enhances everyone's life and everyone's family. You know, if you're a practitioner of this art, people around you are going to benefit as well, even if they're not training with you yet.
Yes. And, you know, and the beauty of this art, and I have to, without just saying I have to, but this is really about him, Dr. Moses Powell, is to rep him, is to rep what he has brought into the world today that has changed styles that's not even connected to him. And that is Dr. Moses Powell, also known as Musa Muhammad to many, but Moses Powell to most. And he was and is a giant in our mind. And I know I can speak for Tom on Grandmaster Curry on that, because that's why we continue to do what we do and reference his name, because he gave us something that, you know, for me, I can't give back to him what he's given to me. There's no way for me to even return the amount of blessings. I can only just continue to represent his name, share his name, and make others to know about what he has given us and help them to see him better. So Dr. Moses Powell is a giant. And speaking of Dr. Moses Powell, you know, you've been around for a number of years, Grandmaster, and you know, and I recall Doc asking you to do some things, and you know, with regard to organizing, you've always been a great organizer. You've had an organized school for many years, and we'll go into that. But in terms of the things that some of the things that Doc may have asked you to do, can you share some of those things?
Well, yes. Doc had asked me to do a few things, and but the biggest thing he had asked me to and entrusted me to do was to record a curriculum. This one. And
I remember.
What it was is that he hadn't written it, he hadn't recorded it down on paper. And he said to me, he says, "I've never done that before. Could you do it?" And I said, you know, what was I going to say to this giant? No, I've never written a book before. I said real fast, I says, I could probably do, yeah, I could do that. I could do that for you. I can't do it overnight. He says, take your time. It's never been done. But if you know, knowing Doc, it's like he would talk and then he'd stop and he'd be on to something else. So you're writing things down and like, yeah, but wait a minute. You said the high fan and the low fan. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? No, we'll talk about that next time. And then we're here. So it took a number of years, and then moving to Vermont was not easy either. You know, like Carol, I think, I don't even know if Charlie was born. He might not even, no, Charlie wasn't even born. Carol was pregnant. Tommy was a baby. Drive there in my little car that I have, and I'd call him and says, "Hey, I'm here." He goes, I remember like yesterday, he goes, "Brother Tom, I don't want to do it today. Let's do it tomorrow." I was like, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. You know, and then I go over there, and he was with Gina at the time, and she went shopping with Carol, and there's Tom and I, and he's demonstrating on Tom, who's a baby. And Doc's hands, as anyone who trained with him and knows him, they were like this. They were like this. You know, they were huge. And
right.
He grabbed Tom, who was pretty much he was a baby, right? And he goes, "You're not worried about me hurting your son, are you?" I go, "Yeah, no." And then he disappear, you know, and I'm like, I walk in the kitchen, I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You guys got to eat." He goes, he was making macaroni and turkey meatballs. Delicious, right? Delicious. But it wasn't he didn't want an entire curriculum, because let's face it, you were with him since you were a baby yourself, since you were a child. So your notes are incomprehensible. You have notes going back to years to show how you were there. And Soke, he was also very young with Doc, Soke Littlejohn. So it wasn't to replace that. It was just to, like I said, Doc, I says, if a student leaves and goes, say to California, and he comes across Grandmaster Anton, how is Anton to know his level of expertise if he's wearing my black belt, aside from the fact that says he's Tom Curry's black belt? And this was a way just to a standardized curriculum to say, hey, this is not the entirety, but this is a portion that say, this is what he can know for testing. This is what he should know, at least this here. And that's all it was. And it was pretty popular. There were some side comments made, but that's okay. It was expected. That's why I put in it on the bottom. I said the only official snooker's curriculum sanctioned by the late Dr. Powell and endorsed by the Grandmasters, which of course would be yourself and Grandmaster Bill, who's actually on the back of it. And I used to bust he told me yesterday, he says, I remember you busting my chops. I used to go, Bill, you got to go to lunch with me. You got to answer some questions. He wrote something down, or I wrote something down, and I need you to show me. Like the fan thing, the high fan, the low fan, different things. I says, is there anything missing? He says, you can't put too much in what you're trying to do. But it took a long time. And at the very end of it, he called me up. I said, and I was like, he's going to ask for the curriculum. I don't have it. It's not ready. I was still, because there's typesetting, there's moving, you hit space, the whole thing shifts over to the left.
That's right.
The page numbers, the dates, your name pops up on the bottom. And I said, Doc, the curriculum's not ready yet. He goes, that's okay. And everyone else was busting chops too. They're like, are you ready? Are you ready? Did you finish it? Did you finish? I said, no, I didn't finish it. I said, Doc, it's not ready. He goes, no. He says, I know you're not ready. He goes, take your time with that. He goes, it's never been done before. I need you to create ID cards for me. I says, I still have the paperwork to do his ID cards. I never threw it away. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But it was fun too, because I got to hang out with him a lot to do this. He was over on Pennsylvania Avenue at Gina's mother's house. I'd go there. He's sitting on I don't know how he did it. He was comfortable on his little tiny chair, and he had a can. He's watching kung fu movies or boxing. He loved to watch boxing too. Or come and get me. I says, well, we'll work on the curriculum. We'll do it at your house. When you got a class. He knew about the Sunday class. Come and get me. And I'd take him, and he'd sit in the class and teach, and we'd go over it. And, it was a lot of fun. It was an endeavor that was, it came back to me, just the experience of working with him.
Nice. That's nice. So okay, great. So the curriculum that you put together, it was an initially to just help make sure that they had a basic knowledge. It went beyond basic, of course, but as you said, it wasn't like totally comprehensive, because who can be totally comprehensive of the man who came up with the things that he came up with? No one can actually do that. It can be more, we can get more and more in various ways, but it was great for you to do that and to undertake that. There are those who would love to have done something like that, but when it's not given to you, and then it's not yours. You see, that was given to you to do, and we're thankful that it's been done, and we're going to make sure that others are aware of that, so that they can again participate. There are so many people that I'm communicating with now, and appreciate just our dialogue, the dialogue that happens on the show, that they want to know more. I have people from other countries. I can't even read that the things, the texts, but there are some that do communicate, and they're looking for places and they're looking for information so that they can study to actually get what it is that we do. So it's going to be, beneficial. It's not something that is dead, just like you have it right there. We want everybody to get an opportunity to look into Doc's mind in that way, because that's all it is. It's a peek into the mind of Dr. Moses Powell.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for that.
He said, the notes go back all the way back to 53 Flatbush Avenue. It goes back to me just on the side with index cards, because I don't know who trained me to work with index cards. You tell index cards today, kids won't even know what you're talking about. I still have the index cards in a little blue box from then. When I was after class, I said, guys, find my marble book. I'm gonna do a video today. Maybe I could show it on the YouTube, my original notebook where we were sitting together. But Doc made mention of his breadth of martial arts was pretty extraordinary, and he was the result of his experience, as we all are, but the way he expressed it was completely different. I don't think anyone was doing anything he was doing at the time he did it. But he said something, and he used to come up with words where I didn't know what he was talking about, like uki gosh. It's a half hip throw. And I remember, like yesterday, him showing it, and he's talking to Grandmaster Bill. He goes, Bill, this is a throw. So Bill says, okay. He goes, no, it don't look like much. It's a half a hip throw, but it's a throw. It's uki gosh. Or he'd throw, drop a Tayatoshi on somebody. He was well studied. He was well versed, but he wanted in the book too, those names. He says, when you cross train, you should know what the other people are doing. He says, and it gives you, do both. He says, don't require people to do both, but do both. He says, so that took a lot of time figuring out what the names were, but it definitely definitely interesting. That it was an education, getting into the mind of just dealing with him to do with it, his expression and we would I would do it too. I would stop the conversation and I say, Doc, I brought something for you. And I go, I got one of these. He go, give me that. So I'd hand him the real one, right? And then I go, I got this one here. It's a training one, Doc. He says, what do I need that for? So it was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun to do that. I was lucky that he asked me to do it. I was lucky to enjoy the time spent with him. He would have liked so many things. He would have liked the finished product, I'm sure. He would have liked how we, when he transitioned, we unified. We come up with the federation. We were doing, before Zoom, we were doing conference calls, right?
That's right.
And we were doing, for the school owners, we were trying to get everybody moving in the right direction. And, he would have enjoyed that. And then to see the seminars that started coming up, dedication to Dr. Moses Powell afterwards, or to know that we've been going now 22 years with a Moses Powell Sanuka seminar. He would have loved that. Or to be sitting here yesterday, what is this, Zoom? All right, this is cool. He would have been all over it.
Yes.
And at some point, whether he'd be standing or sitting down, he'd find a way to jack a couple people up.
That's right.
He'd find a way for that. Bring that one over here,
Yeah, he definitely gets the one, like, if if you doing the seminar, he's gonna get you. He's gonna make sure he gets you. He's gonna get all the hitters.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Grandmaster, in terms of businesses, and I mean you're really a I would say a consummate businessman, martial arts business person. You have a full process and system on how to handle that, and you've shared with me the opportunity to build a school and schools from what you're doing. And you've offered some things that we are putting in place. Would you like to comment on some of that?
Sure. You know, I could go right back to this curriculum. I said to Doc, Doc, he was angry at whoever for whatever reason. I think it was a monetary reason. And I said, Doc, you know what I see a lot of talent here. I don't see business structure. Not from everyone. Some people, like you always ran a great school. 53 Flatbush was awesome dojo. That was really an awesome dojo. And you were pretty young to be on Flatbush Avenue.
Yes, sir.
At that place, and to run a school where everybody came there. And you were open 7 days a week. I mean, people didn't even know where I was on Sunday. You know, they didn't know where I was during the week when I was working either, because I was in the basement. And I went through the back, down the stairs. Drop me off here. Shh. Don't bother me unless you need me. But I said, Doc, this is your product. This is going to be one of your products, because I said, you should be a multimillionaire with what you know, how you look at this thing. It's people are coming to you for your breadth of information, how you disseminating through the techniques and your study and this product that you are, because Sanukas is him. People like you should be, doing better. Let's try and do that. And this was just a product where he could, amongst other things, aside from unifying the schools, he could have sold to the school owners. That was my whole idea, sell it to the school owners, and they can in turn sell it to their students. So it was a product that everyone was going to benefit from, right? But as far as running a school, we, especially at Sanukas, we enjoy it so much that it's, we sometimes forget that if you can't pay the rent, let's back up. If you don't share what was given to you, Sanukas, say Sanukas for now, then you're bottling it up and you're taking it with you. And maybe one day someone will remember, someone won't, but if you share your information, not only it's benefited our lives, but now you're benefiting someone else's life. But if you can't pay your rent, you can't share the information, you have nowhere to go. Yes. So you're kind of killing the system. So it's almost like as a school owner, you're required, your job is to survive and to flourish so that you can keep posting out a seminar, teaching techniques, sharing philosophy, helping to improve people's situation, empowerment, women's empowerment, a man's empowerment, self-esteem, confidence. But if you don't have a platform to do it, then it's lost, because you're not going to find that in the school system. Very rarely, I mean, you will find teachers that really are teaching from the heart, but a martial arts instructor's job is to build people's self-esteem, confidence, is to believe and achieve philosophy, goal setting, among other things that are attached to martial arts, like, all right, I got to defend myself and my family now, and I'm taught to do that. I could do that as well. So in order to do that, you have to be able to platform yourself. And to platform yourself, you have to know how to do it. And Doc said to me when I was talking about this particular, he says, I was taught a lot of things. I was never taught that. I wasn't taught how to do that. And I says, we could do it. it's going to take a little time, but we could do it. And I was working on that with him, but it didn't, the creator, man makes plans and the creator laughs and says, no, that's not my plan. He's coming with me.
Mm.
So as the school owners that we have now, we were discussing like a university for them, that we could say, hey, you have a product, you come from this lineage. Let's now build on that so that you can spread the information that was given to you in a better way, an easier way. And it's not that difficult. It's, I'm around, I hate to say how long I'm around, but I'm around a long time now. And it's just, listen, it's just step by step. We're going to go step by step to do that. And then it'll take right off. And everybody will benefit. The school owners will be able to hold their schools. The students will have a place to train. The children will have something aside from everyday life to go in. They could feel comfortable and safe, and they could learn confidence. They could go out into society. They could be more successful, and so on. And we could create new black belts, and it'll continue. But I think our society needs a little boost in the arm. Aside from everyday life, we need a little boost in the arm to help people along the way. And we're one of the people to do that. So to do that, we have to, create this little university we were talking about so we could educate and encourage and help move people upwards.
Excellent, excellent. And just when you let me give you for instance here. I don't have a school, a school per se. I have students, I've been teaching in a center, in the basement of a school, or can I build a business in that way, not having the school model?
Yeah, for sure. I used to say to my students, I don't have to be in this room teaching you. I could be in a park. I could be on a beach. I could be in my backyard. I could be anywhere. I started in my own basement in my home. It could be anywhere that you could facilitate space to teach your lesson. It doesn't matter what the place looks like. Like years ago, it was like real estate. It was location, location, location. I'm not from that mindset. I'm from a different mindset where I taught over 28 years in a basement of a church in a residential area. No one even knew I was there. But through word of mouth and so a little bit of marketing, I was able to facilitate quite a few students out of that location. I had people coming to my home and it was on a Saturday mornings. And the reason I went and found another place to teach was because there was just too many coming, and they kept coming, because once you start, it's a trickle effect. You start to, if that's what you want to do, if your mind is to say, I'm going to stay in this game. I know I'm helping people. I enjoy helping people. I like where I'm going. If you start doing that trickle effect, you're going to raise up, and then you have to find a better location. Not better saying that you got to pay $10,000 a month in rent, because I don't believe in that. You just need a larger location. And that said, you can't choke yourself either. You can't go into like an 800 square foot spot and expect to have 100 students, because you won't be able to do it. You have to have a place where you can grow. And if you outgrow it, then you have to move to another place. But yeah, if you have only 5 students, you could turn that to 10, and 10 could go to 20. 25, 30 students, and you're now surviving. 25, 30 students can turn to 100 very quickly, and 100 to 200.
Excellent, excellent. So the bottom line is that, no matter what my situation is, we can build a business and infrastructure that will be able to sustain me, and we can just continue building. So you'll take in terms of anyone who comes can find can become someone who can teach and build a school. So this is good. Thank you for sharing that, because I mean, you've been giving it to me, and we're presenting it to others. And I want any one of you out there that's listening to this wonderful conversation, and you may be experiencing issues, and you want to join on to something that's going to be better than what you have right now. This is what we are going to be offering. No, this is what we are offering. We're offering the ability to help you build and make something better of yourself, so that you can be a wonderful opportunity to continue the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell. And of course, it's really going to be whatever legacy you choose to be. So that's what we're presenting. And this is because we're family. I mean, I have discussions with family. This is family right here. So if you're interested in coming in and being a part of this, please just email me at usosvsk@gmail.com, usosvsk@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you to talk to you and see if you really want to do this and expand yourself. But it's all about expanding this word, this art, this teaching that we have. So I just wanted to throw that at you, let you know that that's available. And through Tom primarily, and there are others that have done some tremendous things, but Tom is, I'm sorry, pardon me. I went into real brother and family, but no, you know him, and you better talk to him and call him Grandmaster Curry. All right. So anyway, let's move on a little bit, Grandmaster, to when we're talking about building children versus adults. Talk about that those spectrums, and children, students, adult students, or combination. Talk to me about that, please.
So at 53 Flatbush, I noticed you were working with children right away, and you had two programs, or you had probably several programs. I think you had one upstairs.
That's right.
Jiu-jitsu downstairs. And upstairs, I seen you teaching them formation, standing formations.
Mm-hmm.
And then downstairs, I seen the kids in classes. And I noticed you were very good with the children. And I noticed other things. It's my job, was detection. I noticed that regardless of how many people you were speaking to, if your grandchild came up to you while you were like serious, you're like, then this is what's going to happen. And then your grandchild came over, you will, hey. And I was like, that is the quality of a man that I admire most. That is something integral to being whole. So with that said, working with children is if you don't teach children, you're not teaching martial arts. In my view, in my own view, like I know there are other programs out there geared towards older teenagers and older people, like some of the grappling arts tend to lean that way, but I know they teach kids too. But for me personally, I don't think, for me, martial arts is about teaching children, because an adult comes with a full glass and a child comes with an empty glass.
Yes.
Now, the empty glass is easy to mold. Full glass is a little more difficult, but it's not impossible. It's easy enough. But the child will benefit so much more if they have a martial arts education in them as they're growing up, as they're, they hit puberty, and then they're off into high school, and then they go to college, and then they're into relationships and jobs. And with the martial arts discipline in them, it'll take them a longer way. They'll benefit more than anybody else. As a child who trained, and we know people come back to us all the time, as unfortunately for me, sometimes they're grandparents, and they come back and says, listen, you were really helpful when I was a child. I appreciate it. And so teaching children is key. For running a business, especially during a pandemic where kids aren't really get to do what children do anymore. We go outside, we play, we go to parties, and there's all these festivities we used to do is not quite available right now. A safe environment where, hey, listen, the children are coming in. Yes, we're wearing masks in the school. Yes, we are still keeping ample distance apart. Yes, we're on top of cleaning. We'll keep it as safe as possible. We're keeping our logs. For now, especially, it's a great place for a child to have an outlet, not to worry about the pandemic, not to worry about catching a virus, where they can go and they can have fun, because we're going to make it fun. We always teach in a humorous way, and they can exercise, which this doesn't do that much, right? Playing video games, and they'll do that, or texting on their phones. They love that. This will get their body moving and get their mind thinking. And then whatever else we throw into the mix, we give them our own little homework to do. It'll really help the child. So for me, teaching children is important. Yes. Teaching adults that's an easy one, but as far as saying, look, don't bring me your life experience. Just learn this thing that we're doing here, this culture, this inside my dojo. I don't want to hear about the vape shop. I don't want to hear about, whatever it is that you're doing. I don't want to hear profanity inside the school. I want this to be a dojo, is what it is. It's a place of learning. Come and learn, get a workout, and when you leave, you should feel refreshed. Your mind should be clear. Now you can go attack your bills, your relationships, your job, whatever it is. You're in a better place. So yeah, you have to be recruiting kids. Absolutely.
Nice. That's excellent. So this is really, really some fantastic stuff. I really love it. And I've been teaching for a long time as well. And when you mentioned 53 Flatbush Avenue, When Worlds Collide, to tell the truth, the reason that I was actually, I wanted a dojo somewhere where I can keep it going, but I was actually looking for a business. I had a security company also, and I was looking for a place for that. But what really made me to take the place that I saw and I looked at, and I stayed outside before I chose to do so. And I prayed several days, I went out, sat in the front to feel it. But what I was really looking to make happen there was a place for my children, so that I could do something while I'm working my business, my security company, that I could have my children there also. And it was so fantastic. They were always they knew that place and they ran around the place. They caused a lot of trouble, but we had a great time. So it was a personal desire to have my children and other children around while we were doing business, so that I would not be totally taken away from them. So, I love children, and I think that that's so wonderful that you promoting children even more, but you don't exclude anybody, but you focus on making children's lives a better life, because they're going to become the legacy that your legacy, because all of the little ones become big ones. And they're the ones that's going to take what you do out and expand it. So thank you for thinking of the little man.
I had never heard you say that before. I remember you kids running around. I remember their birthdays and having cake. And of course I remember. But I had the same thought. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make enough money working for the city so I needed another job. I didn't like doing security or bodyguard work. So teaching was something that allowed me to have my children with me while I was working. So there's two sides to that. They could say, well, I could have been out riding the bike, hanging out. And the other side is you grew up in a controlled environment where we kind of handpicked the people that you were going to be exposed to.
That's right.
And as a result of that, you now go forward in life with a discipline that most children don't have, and keeps coming back. And I see it keep coming back, that aids them. It makes them tough. It makes them strong. It makes them stay away from certain things. So it's it's win-win, even though at times they'll say, hey man, I could have been hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, well, I never wanted you to hang out. I'm not cool with hanging out, I'm not cool. Like in Staten Island, there's always been a huge pill epidemic. I'm not good with that. I'm not good with kids doing that or adults doing that. So it's a good, I always thought it was a good place for a child to grow up. It's a safe place. And as a result, look at all the families that have grown up in our schools, because people feel the same way. There's no, you got time, go over there. You'll learn something, and you'll meet martial arts friends like you have, like you were talking about Grandmaster Anton. I think you know him a long time now, right?
Yes.
Since you're kids.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't even know. That's good.
Yes, sir. Well, man, I want to thank you for the time that you've provided today. And we can't ever get all that we need, and we're going to have to, do it again. And this is our channel. This is our way of sharing, again, what Doc has given us, the direction he put us on, and what we're doing from what he did, what he gave us. We can never forget Dr. Moses Powell. And those of you who don't know him, look him up, Dr. Moses Powell. And he was and is a giant, and he is because we will never let him not be known and recognized. He is our father as it relates to giving us this training, that will never end. We're constantly building, and we appreciate him tremendously for blessing us with what we have received. So Grandmaster Tom Curry, man, thank you. MasterCurry.com, boy.
Thank you, sir. Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Man, mine. Please, share with the students. Hey, listen, the seminar was off the chain, but listen, I appreciate being a part of it every year. Thank you for even thinking about me and making me a part of this for the last a ton of years. All right, thank you.
Every student of a master here today, you reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.